Hello everyone! Today we'll be talking about the second anniversary patch, particularly the free portrait selector that we'll be getting. By the way, this is my first time doing voiceover in my video, so please do excuse me if I sound a bit awkward. So going back to our main topic, I'd just like to quickly talk about which one is the most worth portrait to pick up in my opinion. And on top of that list is of course P1 Flutterpage. Her P1 extends her AP plus 1 buff for an extra round, which means that it will now last for 2 rounds instead of 1. This is good news as it will improve a lot of rotations as well as bring an overall damage increase to your team. Not to mention the obvious that it will also make it easier to keep her ultimate up. So more AP, more gust, more buffs, and more follow-up. Flutterpage also fits in a lot and I mean a lot of teams. She basically lives in all of my teams right now. It's also worth mentioning that for players like me who have P0 Liang Yue, P1 Flutterpage will be such a godsend, which is why she is going to be my personal pick. Moving on, another great value is P1 Aleph, since he also provides an AP plus 1 buff and increases the Eureka recovery chance from 25% to 50%. Now, this would of course depend on whether or not you run impromptu on your account, but if you do, then his P1 will also be a very good option. Impromptu team is quite an AP hungry team, so having more AP is always welcome. Since we're already talking about impromptu, Barcarola's P1 is also worth mentioning. What it does is that it adds an additional instance of impromptu from her skill 1. So instead of 1 attack instance, it becomes 2. Now, it may not be as game-changing as an AP plus 1 extension, but it's still some extra damage, and if you enjoy impromptu and love her, then it's also a viable option. Outside of impromptu, I also want to mention Mercuria's P5. I don't know how many people have her sitting at P4, but if you do, either from pulling her or losing multiple 50-50s to her, then her P5 is an excellent choice as well. It makes her easier to play as a universal support since it extends her cosmic energy duration to 3 rounds instead of 2, and it also increases the damage dealt per stack to 3%. Now, if you happen to have P1, her P2 is also a good value pick if you already have teams that work well with her, since it increases the value of her cosmic energy buffs. Let's not forget the second anniversary free 6-star character that we'll be getting, Ulrich. His P1 is actually also a decent option as it provides a pretty good damage boost for the Dynamo team. It increases the cap of his channeling buff and debuff from 70% to 85%. So yeah, basically more damage output, especially if you're running her with Lucy. Fatutu's P2 is also another decent pick. So you know how she follows up with her skill 1 from time to time, right? Her P2 actually makes it easier to trigger as it reduces the required number of shell deployment and retrieval from 7 to 5. So that means more cleansing and healing, which will probably make her even more broken in follow-up teams. So if you have her P1 and want to dabble in that, you can also do so. And last but definitely not the least, I also think that P1 Recoleta is also worth mentioning. It increases the maximum stack of her preparation Recoleta from 1 to 2. meaning you can cast 2 AP free ultimates if you have enough stacks of her narratives. So if you like her and enjoy her gameplay, I'd say her P1 is also a pretty decent pick. Overall, I would say that the best option is still P1 Flutterpage, just because it makes her an even better support than she already is. And with the amount of teams that you can slot her in, I don't think you can ever go wrong with choosing her. But if you don't have her or you already have her P1 unlocked, then the more niche options I mentioned can also be a great choice for you, depending on what your account needs. So yeah, I guess that's all I want to cover for today. Let me know down the comments who you're planning to choose as well as why you want to choose them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please do like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!